This program contains scenes of nonsensical garbage and coarse language, and is intended for a mature audience. Viewer discretion is advised.
Why, hello, my little trash bags. In today's video, I'm going to talk about the new Makeup by Mario palette. Also, can we talk about, is this really a thing? Did he really sign this? Am I lucky? Is this my golden ticket? Or did everybody receive this? Because I haven't seen anybody online talk about it. Granted, my research was like this much. It was 30 seconds, and then I kind of got distracted by a blind box. So, like, you know how it is. But, like, is this normal? Or am I lucky? Either way, I want to tell myself I am lucky. But in today's video, we're going to be talking about the new Ethereal Eyes palette, the Nature Edition. I'm going to show you a few different looks, and I'm just going to give you my thoughts on whether or not I think you should check this palette out or toss it into the sun and watch it burn to death. Anyway, let me tell you a little bit about this palette. Ethereal Eyes Eyeshadow Palette Nature retails for $69. This limited edition palette is Mario's artistic vision comes to life with sunlit earthy tones found in nature at its most magical. The shades provide light, buildable coverage and are blendable, long-wearing, and versatile. This palette is also ophthalmologist tested and approved. The glossy shimmers have a first-of-its-kind formula infused with pearls to impart a reflective, wet-like shine on lids. The suede satins have a smooth suede texture with a demi-silky sheen that provides subtle luminosity. The suede matte has an enhanced grip and rich color, and the natural metallics contain micronized pigments for metallic shine. So that was a lot of fancy words for a palette that is basically a boring bitch palette. I don't really get nature from it, but who does, right? Anyway, so again, I don't know if this is good or not. Like, I keep trying to see if I can peel it. It doesn't look like I can peel it, which makes me wonder if, like, did he really sign this? And I don't think that's the case, but if he did, that's pretty impressive. Impressive to who? Is it impressive? I'll give it, jury's still out. I'm just kind of excited because it could be a real signature, but it could also be a sticker. But I swear to God, like, I'm like trying to scratch off of it. I think this is real. Please humble me in the comments, okay? Please humble me and tell me that I'm a moron. And clearly this is some sort of thing they put on the palette to make you feel special, like you got the golden ticket. But in reality, it's not even anything spectacular. Please do let me know. I think I need a good humbling right now. Okay, anyway. Anyway, you open this bitch up, you get past the beauty that is the outer carton, and you get this guy, which I do love their packaging. Their packaging is consistent with other palettes, especially from the Ethereal line. Ethereal line usually has a little 12-pan action story. What the f does that mean? 12-pan color story that usually is comprised of like half mattes and half shimmers. And that's kind of what we have here. You have your mattes on the outer, and then you have your shimmers in the middle. So I'm gonna kind of break this out into two different formulas, right? Mattes and shimmers. And then of course I'll kind of go into more of like the nuances of like, all right, well, there's a matte with sparkles technically, and then there's also like a metallic within the shimmers, and we'll kind of jump into that. But I want to show you the three different looks that I created. I'll pop it up in the corner here. And I want to talk about my favorite part about this palette, which is the mattes. The mattes are spectacular. Like, I don't have any notes. My favorite, or one of my favorite palettes as of late, is the Neutrals palette from Makeup by Mario. And that is just an all neutral palette. And it's just so good. It's like the perfect base palette. And these mattes, they're the same. They're very pigmented, very easy to blend. They have great longevity. I don't experience any patchiness, any balding, any sort of nonsense. They all like blend beautifully together. I don't feel like they get muddy or anything like that. Like, they are all really, really amazing matte shades. And dare I say, probably some of my favorite matte formula as of late. Like, they're just consistent. And I cannot wait for this brand to make another matte palette. Like, oh, I cannot wait, because they're just that good. I do like the tones that he chose for this. I feel like nothing looks the same. Everything kind of has their own moments. I love that some of the, you know, darker browns just kind of provide a very beautiful dimension. Again, I do not experience any sort of muddiness. This beige shade is a great shade for kind of blending out any harsh edges. Although, like, again, I feel like harsh edges just doesn't exist with this brand, because the formula is just so easily blendable that you don't have to worry about, you know, something off and trying to get that like rough edge out. Like it really blends seamlessly, and I love that about this palette. You have this shade up here, which I think he describes it as a satin cream, and I believe this is the same formula that was in the last Ethereal palette, which I'll be honest, it was kind of like one of my favorite formulas. It's pretty much just a matte shade that has some sparkles, and normally I hate that kind of a shade because it's pointless in my opinion. You start to use it, you blend it out, and then you have rogue sparkles everywhere, and it looks like Tinkerbell took a shit on your face. But when you use this, well, yeah, there is a little bit of sparkle that kind of goes here or there. It just looks so effortlessly beautiful. I actually love using that shade to kind of blend stuff out because it kind of just gives this nice subtle luminosity without it being like just horrible craft glitter stuck right below your brow. Like, I just think it looks so pretty. And I'm so happy that this formula is not a dud for me because I really loved it in that last palette, and I'm still loving it in this palette. And I kind of hope that in the future we get more of this. I don't know why like these shades are kind of only brought out when there's these ethereal palettes and we only get one of them. Like, I would love to see a whole palette full of them. That would be amazing, but who am I? Just some bitch on the internet yelling about things, and obviously I don't have any good ideas. But I would love to see that because I think there is something really, really special about this formula. When I think about similar shades like this, I usually think about two of them. ColourPop, which I mean, I like ColourPop, but when it comes to that formula, I hate it. And then I think of Tatsi Beauty. Remember that? Okay, remember that palette? I really did not like that sequence formula. I don't know why, it just irked the shit out of me, but it really did, because I didn't like the fact that you need this shade to inevitably blend out all the muddiness and the patchiness that you experience with the other mattes. Like, that's kind of how it was pitched to me, and I was like, why? What the fuck? Just make good formula. Like, what the fuck? Okay, all right, okay. Who am I to say? But anyway, when I see matte with sparkles, I immediately just kind of side-eye it until Makeup by Mario created this type of formula, and now I'm like, yes, hello, I'm listening. I love you. It's so good. So I have to say the best part, and if you were to pick up this palette, you will not be disappointed at all with the mattes. The mattes are fabulous. They're fantastic. But when you think about that price tag and you think about like, okay, well, if the mattes are really the star of the show and the middle is kind of just exists, do I really need to pick this up? No. In that case, I say if you are just only interested in the matte formula, please go get the neutral palette. This guy right here, so fucking good. You will have a field day with it. Like, it's just that amazing. And if you were someone that wanted to pick this up and you really love the matte formula, but you didn't know if it was going to be the same, rest assured, it's very much the same. In my humble experience anyway, I haven't experienced any sort of bullshit because again, I just don't think the brand is capable of doing that with the matte shades. I don't know, like they're just not. So I love that. And I think for me, when I use this palette again and again and again, I think I might just really stick with the mattes and kind of just take another shimmer and just use that. But as we cross over into the shimmers, they're fine. They're not the most amazing things I've ever tried. They're certainly not the worst, but like for the price tag and what you're getting and the fact that a lot of the tones kind of look exactly the same, you can't really tell the difference between at least 2 to 3 of them. It makes you question like, why the did I spend this money? And that, I feel like the downfall with these palettes, especially with the ethereal palettes, it's just, there's not enough range and everything kind of looks the same, which kind of begs the question like, why? Why did you do this? Like, especially with the theme of nature, I feel like there's just so many possibilities of what you can potentially do. And this kind of fell into like 3 different camps. Kind of have like a pale gold, you kind of have like a goldish red, and then you kind of have like a goldish green. And that's it. I really would have loved to see kind of more of like a darker shimmer. Oh man, a dark shimmer with the matte formula would have been perfect. Something a little bit cooler, that would have been cute. But instead you kind of get the same tone over and over again. So the amount of looks that you can create with the shimmers really kind of drops down to like maybe 3 at best, maybe. Like, and still then you kind of are side-eyeing like, I don't know, like kind of look like the other one. And as you can see in my eye looks, you know, I feel like even though I created 3, it kind of looks like 2 because they're so similar. So as I mentioned before, all the shimmer formula are in the middle of the palette, and these 3 and these 2 are the ones that are shimmers, and then you have this one that is a metallic formula, okay? The metallic formula, that's not metallic. I don't know what the that is, but that's not metallic. That is maybe satin at best. I was actually kind of really taken back by that because when I applied it, I was like, why the fuck does it look like that? And I used glitter glue too, which kind of really made no sense. I don't know, I guess when you hear metallic, there's an expectation that it's going to look like, you know, Terminator 2. It's gonna look like a Capri Sun adult. It's gonna look like just sick as and the fact that it was just so like lackluster, it was so even calling it a satin is like, that's being generous. There was nothing that I would consider to be a metallic. Like there's no sheen, no shine, no, it was so flat that it was just such a disappointment when I had it on the lid that I was like, okay, I need to cover this up. So I wound up actually using one of the shimmer shades on top of that to try to like bring some life to it. I guess I was just expecting it to really kind of have like this molten metallic kind of a look, but it just was so flat. So I don't understand why he chose that formula, and I really hope and sincerely hope that he chooses to never use that formula again. Burn it. Burn it to the ground. Nobody needs it. And also, how dare you? You promised us this metallic formula and you delivered such bullshit. Like, why? It makes me think one of the first palettes I ever came out with was this guy right here. I don't know if they still exist actually. Let me see. Do they still exist? Yeah, they do. The Master Metals palette. That's what I kind of assumed it was going to be. And maybe that's on me and I up for thinking or having the expectation that it was going to be something like that, because at least that one had that liquid metal type of feel. This one, again, to call it a satin is being very generous when really it was absolutely nothing. So that was incredibly disappointing. When it comes to the actual shimmer formula, I mean, like, no lie, it looks pretty. I think it's fine. But when I compare it to, say, the Moon Dust shadows, for example, by Urban Decay, these are so good. They are so good. They're underrated in my opinion. More people should be talking about them. They are fabulous. And I was really, really sincerely hoping that it would be kind of similar to this formula, and it wasn't. If anything, as I was applying them, it just made me really miss the fact that I wasn't using the Urban Decay Moon Dust shadow. So I was like, well, at least this could kind of spice things up and make it look very pretty. But these were just kind of run-of-the-mill shimmers that you would find in any no-name palette, which again then begs the question, like, why is it so expensive? I know in the description, specifically for the glossy shimmers, they're supposed to be like pearls to impart a reflective wet shine on the lids. And I think it's very similar to like the Patrick Ta ones, except I think the Patrick Ta ones, while very expensive, does a hell of a better job than the shimmers in this palette. So yeah, it's sad because I like parts of it, but I didn't need to go out and pay for it at full price. I'm kicking myself for that one. It's not worth the $69 price tag. Now, if this was all mattes, I wouldn't shut the fuck up about it. I'd be like, oh my God, this is so good, I love it. And I literally would just be saying so many pleasantries about it. But the fact that half of this palette is just so lackluster for that $70 price tag, bitch, it's just not worth it. It really isn't. In terms of variety, like I mentioned before, I really sincerely feel that you could probably create maybe 2 to 3 looks, and that's that. And then after a while, everything kind of starts to look the same. So for me to want to use this palette again, I'm really only going to be utilizing the mattes. The shimmers weren't anything spectacular or special, in my opinion, that would make me really want to touch the middle of that palette again. I think I'm just going to kind of live in the outer fringes, and I'll be okay with that. But yeah, this was disappointing. So if you were waiting for the Sephora sale, and if you are a Rouge member, which means you have 20% off, let me see actually, what would that be? Was it like $13 you'd have off, or $14? Let me do quick math because I'm a dum-dum. Hold. 69, 20. Yeah, $13.80. It's not worth 55 bucks. If you ever happen to see this thing on like sale for $35, I say strike, bitch. Like, I don't know what this was, but strike. Like, definitely get it. But even for at the 20% mark, and as much as I am going to be using those mattes, ooh, bitch, I f***ed up. I f***ed up. When I think about Makeup by Mario, I just think there are better palettes, like their matte, for example. Like, just get the all matte palette. Like, those will never deter you. They will never break your heart. They will be there like a comforting hug. Like, they're so good. I say go get one of those palettes and then just get a shimmer from either an indie brand, or you get the Urban Decay Moon Dust shadows and just call it a day. Well, yes, it might be a little bit more expensive. I feel like you're just gonna have a way better time with it. Or if you're an avid makeup collector, I don't know, don't buy this thing because you probably have shit in your collection that's way better. Just saying. I don't think this palette is really worth checking out. And again, I love the matte formula. I cannot shut up about the matte formula. It's that good. But even at 20% off, for 6 shadows at 55 bucks. Get the hell out of here. Not worth it. And I'll be honest, the looks that I created with this palette, they're not revolutionary. They're fine. They're fine staple looks. Like, they're the kind of looks that you throw together really quickly. And again, I guess that's what I do appreciate about this palette, is that I don't feel like I'm wasting my time and it's taking me a half an hour to just do one eye. Like, his shadows are very like quick and easy, and it doesn't require you to have technically a lot of skill, because I feel like the eyeshadow, specifically the mattes, really do a good job blending, where you don't feel like you need to take that extra 20 minutes to kind of blend it out to make it like a seamless gradient. Like, these blend effortlessly. Kind of very similar to his liquid shadows, which again, is something I highly recommend, and I will definitely talk about them during the Sephora recommendations video. But like, his mattes though are solid. They are solid. It's just, I'm waiting for the shimmers to kind of get up to that level, and maybe one day they will, and I'll shut up and I will be like, oh, I'll fucking bow down to the king. But right now, no. No. Just a no. So yeah, the amount of looks that you can create with it, also the color story kind of being as bland as it is, and the idea of nature, there is just so much variety, and especially being a fall palette. Like, he could have came up with a more, I guess, cohesive color story, or maybe not even cohesive, an interesting color story when you think about nature. Like, damn, I don't know, like the amount of like greens and burgundies, and like, he could have done so much more than just like this kind of basic ass bitchery. And I mean, even basic ass bitches are probably like, I need a little bit more. I need a little bit more substance. I guess that's really the thing that kind of irks me, is that there really isn't a lot of dimension within this palette, especially the middle section where it looks a little bit of the same, but at least the mattes definitely have a bit of dimension. And I don't know. It's weird. Like, I'm torn, because there are some parts of this palette that are really excellent, like the mattes, but when you stack them against the shimmers that are just kind of like, you see what I'm saying? Like, it's just disappointing. It's disappointing. So yeah, I wanted to love this. I really did. I really wanted to love this because I'm a huge fan of the matte formula. And again, that part of the palette, amazing. No notes. The middle of the palette, we'll try again next year. Maybe I will like that palette. But I will say, I definitely like this palette more than the first Ethereal palette that has ever come out. Like, the first Ethereal palette was like garbage in my opinion. And then the palettes after that, I was like, oh, okay, I with you. And in this one, I do see myself kind of using it a little bit, but I'm really going to be utilizing those mattes more. Yeah, I'm bummed about this one, y'all. I'm bummed. Anyway, I would love to hear from y'all. Let me know down below if you have this palette, if you love it, if you hate it, if you were waiting for the sale. Please don't. You should waste your money on other things that I feel like are way more worth it than this one. But I digress. I still want to hear from you. I still want to know your thoughts. And of course, I want to say thank you so much to my beautiful patrons and YouTube members for keeping this disgusting, filthy garbage boat afloat. I love your faces, and I'll see you, little trash cans, real soon. Bye.